Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call for a roll call.
Covert.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lees. Here. Young. Here.
Okay. I have a point on the agenda. We have a change on our new business. Instead of considering, we're going to have a discussion on item number 1. So I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
Motion to approve is amended. Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to the consent agenda. We have 5 items on there.
Motion to approve is presented. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we'll go to our council and staff reports. Greg?
Had a lot of good reports, positive feedback from the student tours and meetings so far. Last Friday's tour, I think, went well. Councilman Johnson and participated, and Teresa participated afterwards with the Transportation and Planning Group.
And land surface.
Transportation and Land Use Planning, yes. So, but yeah, I've had a lot of good feedbacks. Meetings coming up. This Saturday, actually, the Prairie Group will be back to look at some of their top sites. And then they're going to be having a educational and lunch out at the Aldo Leopold home. I don't know if they're going to stop at Homestead 1839 this time. Tobin suggested that they do the the Aldo Leopold home and discussion out there. Zoning, if you're on the zoning steering committee, October 14th at 11:30. If you're on the comp plan steering committee, October 14th at 5 p.m. Prairie planting is on the 19th. If you'd like to be participating in that, just keep that date in mind. Trail ribbon cutting, I'm looking at October 4th, 11th, or 18th. Are any of those dates bad? What's that? October.
Just like tomorrow.
Not the 4th. Never mind. The 11th or the 18th.
The 18th.
Trying to coordinate with the chamber for ribbon cutting. Either one of those bad.
Yes, the 18th, I won't be here.
18th is bad.
The 11th or 18th?
I mean, I can do it out another week too, the 25th too. So
Yes, that's what he said, the 11th or 18th.
so 11th, if 18th is out, 11th or 25th.
I would prefer the 11th.
I won't be available for 11th or the 18th.
I didn't bring my calendar,
I'm not available on the 18th.
so.
Sounds like the 18th is out. So I'll coordinate with the chamber and shoot for, try to get one of those.
The 11th
I
or
wanna
the
get-
25th,
25th,
right now.
maybe the 25th. Sounds like there's a few folks. Give us a little bit of time. And then chamber dinner, I had heard Andy and Julie, myself and Anna. If you know, please let me know. I've got a table of 8 reserved at this point in time. I got yours, Melanie. Staff as well. If you're interested, let me know as soon as possible. So I need to know if I need to get another half table or if 8 will be good this year. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Chase?
We're just working on some sidewalks and a couple projects on the trail. We put the rock in at the trail, and starting next week, we're going to start replacing some hydrants. So,
Okay.
that's about it.
Thank you. Jesse?
We got an update on the radio project. We'll be switching out our radios hopefully on December 1st area. We're still waiting for some equipment to arrive at DESCOM. And then November 1st, Walmart has asked the city to help them with their grand opening of the remodel of the store, and that's on a Friday. I'll get a little bit more information, but I believe it was around 9 a.m. They would like some city staff present during the grand reopening, and I talked to them about getting hold of the chambers and inviting the chambers in that too, so they were working on doing that. So I'll get out there and talk to the manager this week and make sure we're still looking at that time on Friday, November 1st. So.
Anything fire department wise?
Not too bad. Just been fairly busy on calls. We're up to 584 calls, I believe, for the year, so we're well ahead of last year's calls, so just been very busy. August, or I think it was August, we had 92 calls in 1 month. That was a very, very, very busy month for us. So last month was a little quieter, but staying about 60 calls a month is what we're averaging.
So are those fire or are those accidents?
Most of those calls are EMS. Majority of, probably 80% of them are EMS calls. So.
Anything from our building inspector?
You should be getting some stats, asked for some updated stats, so we'll get those in your updates tomorrow. But otherwise, had a number of projects that he's been coordinating on, so, and all those seem to be moving well. So, but we'll get you some updated stats that he's going to pull from the software tomorrow, tomorrow. So.
Okay, Kelly, anything?
Not tonight.
Angie, anything?
Oh, wait, I lied. I emailed the auditor, and she's reviewing our audit this week, and she should have me the draft of it next week. So it's still going to be a couple more weeks, because she's just going to send me the initial draft of it, but I emailed her because...
Anything from IT? Okay, if not, I'll go to council reports then. Ringo?
No, nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, Andy?
Not for me, thank you.
Okay, John?
I'm good.
Okay, Therese?
I'm quiet.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I'll mark that one down. Nothing, thank you.
Nothing? Okay. I have a letter that I would read to you from the Humane Society. Dear Mayor Teeter, City Council, and city employees, thank you for letting us use the beautiful community park to hold our DMCHS car show. The new picnic tables are so nice. We appreciate all the work that you do. Your support means so much to the dogs, cats, and humans at the Des Moines County Humane Society. Without supporters like you, we could not provide all that is needed to care for these wonderful dogs and cats in our care. Sincerely, Carrie McCoy, President of the Board of Directors. And I think with that, I'm done with mine. We have a community report. Brittany Jacobs.
Evening, everybody. For those I haven't yet met, I am Brittany Jacobs from the Public Library, and West Burlington signed a 28E contract with us for library services for your community. Your next year's contract should be in the mail. You haven't yet received it already. And what that contract does is it ensures your whole community full access to the library, with over 170,000 physical items to check out, several databases, connection to the internet, and a full calendar of free events and programming that run all year long. Anytime throughout this presentation, if you have any questions, just go ahead and interject. I'd be happy to chat back and forth. You should have gotten a copy of our slides emailed to you this week. So I'm just going to go over those real briefly. Slide 2 shows our library services reports. Those are our reports that I write monthly that are a snapshot of statistics and anecdotal stories from what's happening in the library, and they're always available on the website. Slide 3 gives a bird's eye view of fiscal year '24, which runs from July 2023 to June of 2024. So we just ended fiscal '24. And it showcases some of the bigger projects. Last summer, we did our very first public art piece with a face mural on our entry hall. That was a temporary piece of art that we did with Isaac Campbell using photos from the Burlington archive. That was the first time we had utilized any images from our archive. And while the mural lasted for about 6 months, it kind of showcased what a great canvas that entry wall is. And so looking at public art in the building, that wall is definitely a contender for something a bit more permanent. 2 years ago, we had a space consultant come in and review the 55,000 square foot building that we have and help us put together a plan that would make the library a little bit more accessible and user-friendly. And this year, we started implementing some of those changes from that full report. If you've been in the library lately, you've noticed that the entryway has changed a bit, and we've got a new desk up front. We're also moving the book returns up front. And so all of these changes that we're doing have a lot of research and intentional thought that we have put behind it. And the whole point is to make it easier for our patrons to use. So we're bringing all of those quick transactions to the front of the building, whereas currently, if you want to print anything quickly or scan or fax, you have to go to the furthest corner, 1.5 miles from the front door, and then the bathrooms are back at the front. So there's a lot of walking involved, and we've got a lot of patrons who have some kind of physical mobility issue. And so by bringing all of those services to the very front, we're getting access to people a little bit faster and making it a little bit safer. We had several proclamations last year, one of which came from the West Burlington City Council. We went through our strategic planning last year as well. It was a 5-year plan that was adopted by the Board of Trustees this January and will run for the next 5 years. We received our first 2 federal level grants this last year, the first of which is the Americans in the Holocaust exhibit, which is a nearly $200,000 value exhibit that's coming in August of 2026. We were one of 50 libraries chosen nationally, and we wrote that grant in partnership with the Danville Anne Frank Museum. And so we're going to pair that museum with some other interesting components in our community for that 6-week time that the exhibit is at the library. We are anticipating that we're going to have around 50,000 visitors coming through just to see the exhibit. So we're talking with biking so that the boat folks can come in and look at the exhibit. We're talking with the airlines. Rather than market us to go to the big cities on weekends, we're going to be marketing to the big cities to visit Burlington for the weekend to see our exhibit, explore our town. So hopefully a lot of people and revenue will come to the community with that. We also received the Libraries Transforming Communities grant this last year, which was a $10,000 grant we got to help make our collection a little bit more accessible. And one of the ways in which we did that was by purchasing playaways, which are audiobooks on an MP3 device. CD players are kind of going by the wayside. I don't know if anybody has a car from, I think they phased those out in 2016. You're hard pressed to find a CD player in your car anymore. So MP3s are going to be this way that we connect people who aren't totally comfortable using our digital databases, Libby and Hoopla, and who maybe don't have the technology to play a CD. This is you just need headphone jack, and you can listen to a full book on it. So those came up on the floor for circulation about 2 weeks ago, but that was a nice $10,000 infusion to the collection to make it a little bit more accessible for the visually impaired. We entered into a partnership with the Sustainable Libraries Initiative, which will help us become certified and create a roadmap for making sure that we are economically sustainable, we're sustainable with our staff, and we're sustainable with our facility. And we're partnering with the Burlington's Renewable Energy Commission to help go through some of those planning processes. February was Love Your Library Month, and then we ended the year with summer reading. This year, we tried something different. We rolled back the incentives and we opened summer reading up to people of all ages. Typically, this program is focused on elementary students, and if you look at the demographic data in our county, most people here are adults, and so we are doing a huge disservice to the community by focusing on only the kids in the summertime. So we opened it up for readers of all ages, and we encourage people to exchange their weekly reading credits for a walnut that they then put into a tree sculpture that we had, and every section of the tree that got filled unlocked 5 trees to be planted in the community. So by the end of summer, we had unlocked 50 trees to be planted. This was in partnership with the city's forestry department and in conjunction with our tree city designation and the Tree Bureau designation. We are planning on doing that again next summer and trying to create a community-driven incentive that relies less on plastic tchotchkes that we hand out for reading and more on how can we collectively come together and read toward a common goal. Any questions about the year? It's a real fast overview.
Brittany, with that summer program, did you see the ages that you drew into the program increase from previous years, or?
We almost doubled adult participation, which is fabulous. We had a lot more babies participating, which is great. So yeah, it was really exciting to see the amount of people that came out and participated, specifically to help plant trees in the community.
How about, didn't we give away pool passes this year in the summer reading? Did we get any final numbers on that?
I'll have to,
Okay,
I should have,
no problem.
Katie has a list of all of our coupons that we
Okay.
turn in.
The next slide is an overview of some of the partners that we had this last year. One of the big ways in which we are helping along those sustainability lines for the staff is by taking some of those program pressures off of them and partnering with more outside experts who come in. Not only does this take staff's time and pressure away from programming, but it also elevates the quality of programming because we're bringing in actual experts to do these programs. So this here shows just a brief overview of some of those partners that we had this last year. The next slide shows the service area. We serve most of Des Moines County. Every municipality contracts with us except for Danville. They're the only community that does not have library service. They do have their own free library that they can use there, and they can come to any program that we offer. They just can't get a library card and use library resources. We also contract with the 4 counties in Illinois, and that is a pay-per-use service. So every Illinois family that comes over pays an annual fee equivalent to what Burlington residents pay in their taxes. And then through a program called Open Access, anybody in the state of Iowa who lives and pays tax into an accredited library system can use any accredited library system. So while Danville can't use our library because they don't contract with us or pay into our tax base, somebody from Okoboji could come to Burlington and get a library card because they're paying into the Okoboji tax system. So it opens up our service area, and we do get a lot of folks from outside of the county in Iowa who use us because we're quite large. 172,000 items is way more than what a community of 25,000 people warrants, but because of that we're able to extend service and be a bit of a hub in southeast Iowa for our communities. Slide 6 gives a brief overview of our data. Our full data report doesn't get submitted to the state until the end of October, and so this is a really condensed version and a highlight of some of the resources and how they were used. Those numbers. Slide 7 breaks down how we pay for all of that on an annual basis. We get a $1.6 million budget from the city of Burlington. 303 of that is operations, and then we're supplemented with private money from our foundation, private money from our Friends group, and that brings our whole budget to 1.74. The pie chart shows the breakdown between private and public dollars. The Burlington Public Library not only is the oldest and first free public library in the state of Iowa and the first free and public library west of the Mississippi, it has a long history of private-public partnerships, and that's evidenced in our budget today. The Friends of the Burlington Public Library do book sales quarterly, and they run the bookshop in the front of the library, and they pay for 100% of our programming. Every class and event that we offer is free to the community thanks to the Friends of the Library who pay for all of that. We're very fortunate to have a group that works so hard. We have one of the largest Friends groups in the state with an active member base of over 300, which is just wild.
Yeah,
It's a really big group, and they're fun, and they do a lot of great things for this library. And so if you take our budget and put it into what is called the value added calculator that the American Library Association created, it shows that with that municipal budget plus our private funds, we bring back a $6.4 million value to the community. So libraries are a good economic investment. We stretch dollars and multiply them 1 to 5. Looking ahead to the next year, we're in a bit of a financial limbo with House File 718 removing our levy that carried about 65% of our operating budget, and our utility franchise fee kind of up in the air right now. So a lot more to come in the very short, very near future. We'll find out what our budget's going to be like this next year. Slide 8 is an overview of what we'll be doing for capital projects this next year. So while the Friends pay for 100% of programs on average, the foundation pays for 100% of our capital investments, our capital projects. We do not get any tax money for capital projects at the library. So the foundation pays for all of that. We'll be installing a bus shelter at the top of our driveway that has solar panels in it, and you can plug in a phone to charge. We'll be installing some interactive nature-themed sculptures. We're going to be rezoning the electrical system in the public floor of the library. We only have 2 light switches for the whole public floor, so everything's either all on or all off. We're going to zone that so we have a little bit more control and we can utilize some natural light during the day. We are getting our bookmobile. We've been talking about this for 3 years now. We have the bid process started. We're going to be getting the same make and model oversized Sprinter van that our property maintenance team uses. That way they can help maintain the vehicle for us. It's not going to be a specialty vehicle. So hopefully that'll hit the road next spring, and we'll be able to talk with you all and come up with a plan for us to be here regularly. That van will run year-round. It's not going to be relegated to just the summer months. It'll be a year-round bookmobile. We're getting our meeting rooms outfitted with new projector systems that are much easier to connect to for people who are utilizing our meeting room spaces. Right now, I think we're on the 4th month in a row where we're at about 400 meeting room reservations per month. They are in high demand, and the technology is 18 years old, and so it's time for a bit of a facelift in there. And we also have 2 pieces of art coming. The teens are going to be doing a mural in the teen space. Actually, remember the old library building had a stained glass depiction of Hypatia in the old Stax room. And Hypatia was a scientist and a philosopher from Alexandria, Egypt, and was she's seen as a martyr for education and for critical thinking. And it was Crapo who commissioned that stained glass piece for the opening of the library in 1896. And he paid a whopping $300 for that commissioned stained glass piece. It's a one-of-a-kind. There's no other window like that in the world. And when they restored it in the 90s, it was an $11,000 restoration job. And we're looking at putting in some kind of public art inside the building to give a nod to our old facility, but to also carry on that legacy of Hypatia that Crapo started with our old library. And we are also going to be looking at renewable energy for the building. We had an energy audit done with Alliant just 2 weeks ago, and we'll be looking at solar panels of some capacity for offsetting our electric bill. The last slide just has our mission statement. So it was a great year for the library, for the community. We're looking forward to, regardless of what happens with our budget, I think that we've got a lot of exciting things coming up this next year, and we're happy to be able to offer the full suite of services to the Burlington community, as well as the county and Middletown.
So you're putting solar in? What do you expect that to save? How much?
We don't have any of the numbers right now. We're just looking to see what kind of renewable energy can offset our electric bill, and solar. We already have geothermal in the building, which helps tremendously with our heat bills. But solar We're, that's the highest line, electricity is the highest line that we have right now on our budget, and so we're looking to offset that. And if solar panels can lower those costs, then we'll go that route. If they don't,
So you didn't have a cost estimate of,
we're not there yet.
they're not that far?
We're just running our baseline numbers with Alliant to see where we're currently at and see if there's any room for efficiency on our end before we start looking at other types of renewable.
So what is the utility bill to run the library?
It costs us nearly $100,000 just for electricity annually. It's more than we pay.
You do a great job with the library, and as it's brought the students in from Iowa, University of Iowa, it's fun to say, hey, make sure you swing by the library, stop there just to see this gem we have in our community, and it's a great resource or stuff, so just keep up the good work, Brittany. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go on to new business. Let's go to item number 1, and that's a discussion. So, Greg, I'll let you start that off.
I had some questions. Snyder hasn't been able to get back to me on the $24,000 essentially that they're requesting. I could see some on observation, but resubmittals, doing 2 vouchers versus 1 voucher, we don't have any choice on that versus per DOT. So I had some questions. They haven't been able to get back to me. They're asking for $24,000 given the extension in the project timeline, some of the delays, and additional work that they had to do. Observation, I could see Sean with Snyder was down here quite often and every Wednesday to meet DOT requirements. We may look at getting a staff member certified, and don't ask me what that certification is right now, but it'd be that would allow us to do the weekly inspection for various state or federally funded projects, but we don't have anybody that's certified in that at this point in time. So Sean has to come down every Wednesday, and he'll come down every Wednesday through the winter and into spring if we aren't able to close out the project as well. Hoping that the seed all takes and we can close the project out yet this year. So I need answers to my questions, and get that back to council. Put it on the next agenda most likely for discussion.
So this is what part? The
Additional engineering services?
or from Houston to
The trail, yes.
to up here or where?
Current
The
trail
new
that's
trail.
almost done, right?
Oh, current
Yes.
trail.
Not the current trail, the current trail, not the extension.
From SCC to Houston Street,
Oh.
through the mall.
We were both wrong.
Yeah.
Was there anything in original contract on overages and?
No, this is just given the timeline, additional work that they're suggesting. Resubmittals that they're having to review from the contractor, I don't think those should be something the city has to bear. They had some other costs in there as well. It just didn't seem appropriate to me. The observation seems to make most sense. We need somebody out there making sure the work gets done. And once we had some of those earlier discussions, the work subsequently was significantly improved. So it makes sense having somebody on site representing the city's interests. So I can see the observation piece, but
Which is task C on their description.
doing vouchers,
Yeah.
twice a month instead of once a month, I mean,
They had to be
and
done
being paid
anyway.
for that, it just doesn't make sense to me, because DOT allows for either, so they should have planned to do either in their costs. So. I
So
need more-
task C is the one you're kind of saying, that's probably legit, they added 21 contract days, but the other 3 tasks you're really pushing back on.
And they have some additional breakdowns that he sent me to review as well. So, yeah. I just have questions, I'd like to get them answered.
Absolutely.
So,
Any other questions from council? Not, we'll move on to item number 2, which is considering a request for a property owner to keep chickens at 317 Leffler.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion on this.
I see that not all the neighbors have been contacted, like 310 Ramsey and I don't think 310, 312. 310's right across the alley from them.
$318.
Am I correct on that?
I think it's $318.
318? Yeah, 317 left, right, so,
Yeah, 317 Leffler.
yeah, and then right
Behind
across-
them would be 318 Ramsey.
At the bottom.
There's 317. It's 3, yeah. And 310 here, yeah. Down the street from a little bit. Yeah.
Are the ones with pink on it, the ones that they've contacted, right? That's how I was reading it, I guess I didn't double check.
Anything that was,
They have
this
to
is them right here.
contact the ones that were within 100 foot.
317. 314.
100-foot radius of the property.
Code says 100.
I just did any adjoining property, any adjacent property.
The only one,
I know that's what's drawn on here, I just know that's not our code. Code's 100 feet.
I think they're all in here.
They're just adjoining, but if they want to go up further than 100.
Well,
You want to go one house, probably needs to go one house, row of houses further.
yeah, with those size lots.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that I'd hate to approve it and then someone come forward and said he'd never been contacted. If they can make the extra effort maybe and contact those neighbors just to make sure. That's what I was thinking.
What happens if they do, if you have one that says no and the other 10 says okay,
In fact,
you
they
know,
have the chickens and they shouldn't.
or 5,
Already
7,
have the chickens there.
So-
Last time he was sitting right here, we still approved it.
that's what I'm saying. So, you know, if they,
Yeah.
I don't think we should hold it up to one person.
But I'll be short, I continue to be completely against doing this, but if you're going to continue to do this, you should change code so that everybody's on a level playing field and we have a code that's enforceable, so the building department can go back and have a way to contact people, because right now, code just says no, unless we allow it. So,
I've gathered a few examples. Are we rewarding this homeowner for doing it without getting permission if you proceed? I'm wholly against them as well, but I have been collecting ordinances for council review, so, if that's your desired direction. But I'm not in favor of, personally either. It wouldn't be my recommendation to proceed. And I don't like rewarding folks that haven't followed the ordinance and already have this in place, so. This came up last time. We discussed possibility of putting a code in because we wanted to stay, I think most of us agreed that we wanted to, like Andy said, and I think we dropped the ball on that, completing that, that process. We discussed it, but we didn't complete the process, whether we were going to or not.
I believe we're part,
in the
are we going through
process.
all our ordinances and codes and updating that as part of our whole update process? and the city
I'm
process?
collecting some, I've been collecting some chicken ordinances specifically.
Specifically, okay. But in the
It's
meantime.
not in the zoning code.
In the meantime, we have it changed, and what we have in place is, we say no, but if you want to
Right.
do it, submit the application, go through this process, come before council, and provide us what's in front of us.
Right.
That's our process, and that's what the previous homeowners have done. And to my knowledge, there haven't been issues, but maybe they have, but to my knowledge, not.
Is
This
this,
homeowner is asking to
Yeah.
have 4 chickens.
is this a renewal then too?
No.
No, they failed to do it. They just did it on their own. They didn't follow city code.
So they
So
missed
it's
it
already in
first
place. They did not get council approval.
We have an issue on Prairie Street where somebody has, Jesse's talked to them, 25 chickens?
Yeah.
time. That's 12, 13 more than we allowed.
I think that's one of the roosters that Officer Latron encountered on North Gear, that one day he was doing a traffic stop. Shortly thereafter, 2 weeks after, we had and besides the other rooster that he encountered right outside City Hall.
I think Jesse told them they
Chicken.
needed to get
Yeah.
rid of them. That's the last I heard, but I think I'm not sure if they've done that yet, but
I haven't received any other complaints about that one, but I'll follow up with it.
it's on Prairie,
Is that the big one in the back?
there's 2 on Prairie.
2 on Prairie?
Any further discussion? Not, I'll call for a vote.
Crowner,
No.
Johnson,
A.
Lees,
Aye.
A.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
You said they already rebuilt built it before they asked permission? No.
Motion carries. Go to our third item of business.
Before we move on, can we have something for this code before we go any further with
More chicken.
more chickens?
I think we talked about doing that before, but I think the consensus was not to do anything additional at that
I
time.
believe there was only one person, I believe Johnny at the time was the only person against talking about
A new code.
Putting in
yeah.
doing something in code.
I think we sent one, did we send one out in the weekly update?
You did, you're right, you sent this, because I remember reading it, like Des Moines allowed 24, different communities allowed a higher number. I'm like, we were more restrictive than some of the ones, but yeah. We started, we didn't finish the drill on updating our stuff.
So then the
Penalty
person,
for them if they're, I mean, they shouldn't be getting a citation probably if they're doing it without
Well, we
permission,
can,
but
we can utilize the general
so what about the
penalty under
people
city
down
code,
on
too.
Prairie? What do we do with those people?
Jesse's told them they need to remove them or apply for a permit from the city council.
The code has a generic or general penalty up front for anything that's not specifically laid out in the code, which could be applied.
So if they go ahead and set up their chicken factory, and then they come and find out they're in big cahoots with us, can we fine them a penalty then for not getting
Presently
the
using
permit prior?
Presently using just the general, and it's actually, there's
Maybe we
a
can-
fine component and/or misdemeanor as part of that general penalty. So it'd be good to clarify it under any revised ordinance, but we can use that general penalty right now.
Well,
And it would, if it's fine or simple misdemeanor.
And my point on the code size was not for a person that doesn't have permission. It's that we have nothing in place for people that do have permission that then
Regulation.
maybe have 3 times as many chickens as they're supposed to or anything. We don't have anything in code saying we can do anything about it.
There's discretion that's allowed in there for
There's a number.
removal, I believe.
And I mean,
It's on there.
it says how many they can have on their permit.
There is language in there that indicates that we can have it removed
Yeah.
if they fail to follow city
Yeah, I think
policies,
so.
procedures.
Okay.
so,
But-
I think that if we're gonna start allowing that, I definitely think there needs to be more regulations.
We can make it
And a
cleaner.
penalty.
so then
Definitely
down on
cleaner.
Prairie Street, Jesse, what are you doing down there?
Like I said, I haven't received any other complaints. I'll follow up with them tomorrow to see if they're still there or not. But,
You need to check that address too for the other, second
yeah,
one
I
on Prairie too.
haven't
Yeah.
had any complaints about that one, so.
I mean, I don't know if
It would be nice to know if this person already had chickens before they got the permit, because then I probably would have voted against it.
Yeah.
this particular one, this one?
They
You're
had
talking about
chicken-
this one?
They had
This
chickens
current
bef-
one.
There's
before they-
there's chickens in the picture on their application for chickens.
That could have been AI generated for all I know.
No, if you walk by there, you can see them.
If I look at the details, I indicate they've been there, but I understand what you're saying.
Therese, we go on now?
Sure, thank you.
We have a resolution appointing 2 part-time fire department employees.
Motion
Mayor,
approved.
before we get approval on that, we need to have one little correction on the resolution. It says Deputy Chief Justin Pryor, and it should read firefighter Justin Pryor on the resolution.
Okay,
On the agenda, it says firefighter, but in the resolution, it says Deputy Chief.
okay,
So that's a correction that needs to be made.
okay.
And this also, Zach Boyd, we already approved him, so we removed Shackelford
Yeah,
and added Justin on here.
yes.
Who was taking Shackelford's position as the your second part-timer?
Justin, that's
Justin.
the one that we are approving tonight.
Right.
Did you amend your motion?
Nobody made it, oh,
There's been no motion.
there's been no motion.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
Support as amended.
with that in mind, I suspect there's probably no discussion. Unless you want to say something, Jesse.
I don't have anything else.
I'll call for a roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have completed our agenda. It says we have a closed session.
No, we don't have a,
Okay.
that's just a title, agenda
Just a title, all right.
Space.
Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by